I'm informed that the above-mentioned committee had concluded that out of 869 reported cases, there were 5 minor A1 adverse effects following vaccination and 2 major A1 adverse effects following vaccination. It is to be noted that the WHO classifies a minor A1 adverse effect following vaccination as an event that is not serious and has no potential link to the health of the recipient of the vaccine. On the other hand, a major A1 adverse effect following a vaccination is defined by the WHO as an event that potentially results in persistent or significant disability, incapacity, or death. As per our records, I'm informed that there are 2 such cases where one patient was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome and another one who was diagnosed with thrombosis with thrombocytopenia.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. As you are aware about the admission by AstraZeneca concerning the serious side effects of Covishield, namely thrombocytosis syndrome, has your minister considered having a hotline in an attempt to reach out to those recipients of Covishield so that we have a fair and clear idea whether this particular side effect has been encountered in the population?
Mr. Speaker, sir, we stand guided by the WHO. In the event that the WHO will give this recommendation that we should go for a hotline and start calling all these patients, all those who have received the Covishield, the AstraZeneca vaccine, definitely the ministry will go through. But so far, there is no such recommendation from WHO for such an activity.
Thank you. I do appreciate you are being guided by the WHO. However, can the Honourable Minister see in the light of what is happening worldwide, particularly with these serious side effects as a Class A action, legal action in the United Kingdom, should we not be proactive now to see whether there are these cases active or has been active in the population? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, so that's why in my reply, I already stated that there were 869 reported cases of adverse effects, out of which, and the committee has already given the recommendation, what are the serious adverse effects, what's been the minor, that is the not serious adverse effects, and we'll stand by our report because all these reports were generated at the time the vaccines were conducted, following again the WHO recommendations.
Next question.
457.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the Central Electricity Board has 2 defined benefit pension schemes, namely the CEB Staff Pension Fund and the CEB Manual Workers Pension Fund, which were established on 1st January 1974 and on 1st January 1976, respectively, and in accordance with Section 8 of the CEB Act. Both funds, which are separate and distinct from the CEB, are governed by the Private Pension Scheme Act 2012, FSC rules and its constitutive documents. Each fund is administered by a governing body consisting of 6 members, out of which 3 members are appointed by the CEB and the remaining 3 members are elected by the members at the annual general meeting. As at 31st May 2024, both pension funds had a total of 1,429 pensioners and 1,486 members. Since 1st September 2016, the CB is implementing a defined contribution pension scheme for all new employees, and both the defined benefit pension funds are closed to new entrants since that date. Mr. Speaker, sir, the information sought in the PQ regarding the actual financial state of the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund and the CB Staff Pension Fund have been provided by the governing body of the pension funds through the CB. I have been informed that the unaudited financial statements for year ended June 2023 for the CB Staff Pension Fund reports an income of 258.8 million rupees, additional CB contributions of 484 million rupees, and expenditure amounting to 307.6 million rupees. Hence, the financial statements for 2023 show a surplus of 435.2 million rupees. As for the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund, unaudited accounts as at 30th June 2023 report an income of 158.7 million rupees, additional CB contributions of 312.9 million rupees, an expenditure of 345.2 million rupees, hence a surplus of 126.4 million rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must add that the net assets of both pension funds have been constantly rising over the last 3 years. Net assets for the CB Staff Pension Fund have expanded from 1,775.6 billion rupees as at 30th June 2020 to 3.414 billion rupees as at 30th June 2023. Similarly, the net assets for the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund have grown from 981.2 million rupees as at 30th June 2020 to 1.598 billion rupees as at 30th June 2023. These figures reflect that the funds have been accumulating surpluses which are being invested and are earning returns. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have been informed by the governing body of the pension funds, and I would like to highlight that the CB has been implementing the funding plan agreed with the CB Staff Pension Fund and the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund respectively. As such, a fixed annual contribution of 312.9 million rupees has been committed and paid by the CB to the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund in 2021, 2022 and 2023. Moreover, a fixed annual contribution of 484 million rupees has been committed and paid to the CB Staff Pension Fund in 2021, 2022 and 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, as shown by the above figures, the financial state of both pension funds have been improving over the years. However, given the growing expenditure under the defined benefit pension schemes, the number of pensioners and the regular increases in the salaries of the staff under the successive collective bargaining agreements, the CB requested consultancy firm Deloitte to make recommendations regarding a review of the pension funds for better sustainability. A report was submitted to the CB in April 2023, and the recommendations made were subsequently examined at the level of a committee comprising board members and members of management. The committee held several consultations with various stakeholders and submitted an action plan for implementation. The actions relate, among others, to a merger of the pension funds for greater sustainability, a shift from defined benefit to defined contribution pension funds, use of average salary for calculation of pension, cash injection, governance of the pension funds, and reporting on performance of the investment company. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the regular cash injections by the CB into the pension funds and implementation of the recommendations of the consultant on the review of the pension funds for improved sustainability, it is expected that the position of the pension funds would further improve in the coming years. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Peut-on, la direction du CEB avait pris l'engagement de verser dans les deux fonds de pension 2 fois 400 millions de roupies par an. Peut-on savoir du ministre si pour les années 2021, 22, 23, les 800 millions de roupies comme l'engagement pris par la direction du CEB selon la section 21 du Private Pension Scheme ont été respectés?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in my main reply, I have already stated that for the years 2021, 2022, and 2023, an amount of 312.9 million has already been committed and paid, and to that is the CB Manual Workers Pension Fund, and to the CB Staff Pension Fund for the year 2021, 2022, and 2023, an amount of 484 million rupees has already been committed and paid. I understand that for the year 2021, 2022, and 2023, they have already paid, except for 2023, 50% have been paid. And for 2024, they have already committed that amount, and it will be paid before the end of this year. And I understand, Mr. Speaker, sir, every effort will be made to settle outstanding balances by the end of the year, and a letter has already been sent to the CB Pension Fund to this effect.
Le ministre, vient clairement démontrer que l'engagement pris n'a pas été respecté à la hauteur de 800 millions de roupies par an. Ceci dit, le ministre est-ce que le ministre, puisque c'est le ministre lui-même qui l'a dit au Parlement, plus de 3 milliards de roupies ont été pris dans les caisses du CEB pour injecter dans le Consolidated Fund. Est-ce que le ministre, puis-je demander au ministre s'il compte voir avec son collègue ministre des Finances pour faire retourner les 3 milliards de roupies du Consolidated Fund, pour faire retourner dans les comptes du CEB, pour que le CEB puisse renflouer ces deux fonds de pension comme convenu par la direction du CEB selon, encore une fois, la section 21 du Private Pension Scheme Act.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I've already replied to this question and to a PQ which was asked to me some time back. With regard to the amount that I stated, I said that CB has already committed that they will effect the payment before the end of this year.
Next question.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. B458. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I shall reply to parliamentary question B458 and B469 together, since they relate to the same subject matter. At the very outset, I wish to convey my condolences to the bereaved family of Mr. M.O.L., who passed away on Wednesday, 19th of June, 2024, whilst on duty. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Municipal Council of Vakwa Phoenix that on Wednesday, 19th of June 2024, a team comprising of 7 refuse collectors, including Mr. MOL and 1 driver, was providing scavenging service at Rajaratnam Road, Granum, Vakwa. At around 8:50 a.m., Mr. MOL and Mr. HS, who form part of the scavenging team, were in the garbage box of the municipal scavenging lorry of number plate 5Z153 to empty refuse bin being handed over to them from their colleagues. As per information obtained from the driver, Mr. DB, while giving back an empty bin to another refuse collector, Mr. MOL lost balance and fell on the road. According to employees, including the driver, who were on the said site of work, the lorry was stationary at the time. The SAMI was contacted immediately, and when it called on the said site, the doctor declared that Mr. MOL had already passed away. The Ministry of Labour and Human Resource Development and Training, as well as the Vakwa Police Station, were informed accordingly. An inquiry is ongoing to determine the cause of the accident. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard to similar previous incident on the 14th of September 2023, late Mr. SS, refuse collector posted at the council, fell from the refuse box while providing scavenging service at Kamapu, Phase 1, Henrietta. The incident occurred whilst the driver, Mr. DB, was reversing the municipal scavenging lorry in a dead end over a distance of around 25 meters to enter an off lane. Late Mr. SS, who was on the refuse box with another colleague, lost his balance when the driver applied the brakes and he fell down. He was admitted to the hospital on the same day, but unfortunately passed away on the 21st of November 2023 at the hospital. The cause of death was attributed to pulmonary hemorrhage. The Occupational Safety and Health Division of the Ministry of Labour, Human Resource Development and Training has initiated an investigation into the matter to determine the cause of the accident. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to safety measures, I'm informed by the Council that all refuse collectors on roster basis are each provided with personal protective equipment on a yearly basis, namely 2 pairs of rubber boots, 4 pairs of rubber gloves, double industrial layer, and 1 fluorescent waistcoat. 1 rain suit is also provided every 2 years. All protective equipments are replaced upon request from the employee in case of wear and tear. Furthermore, the Council has established a safe working procedure for refuse collectors on the roster basis, following a visit by the Ministry of Labour, Human Resource Development and Training at the Municipal Council of Vakwa Phoenix on the 14th of March 2024. Same has been circulated to all employees working in the scavenging section, including drivers, refuse collectors, and supervisors refuse collection. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Ministry of Labour, Human Resource Development and Training that following its visits on the 14th of March 2024, which was well before the present accident, the following recommendations have been made. Firstly, to establish a safe system of work in connection with all high-risk jobs at his place of work and ensure that all employees concerned are provided with appropriate training, instruction, information, and supervision for proper implementation of such safe system of work. Secondly, to ensure by strict supervision that the safe system of work is being closely followed by the employee concerned. And thirdly, ensure that the employees are provided with adequate safety and health information, instruction, and training. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Labour, Human Resource Development and Training has further informed that it has already held a consultation with stakeholders concerned for the introduction of a regulation to regulate safety and health condition of refuse collectors, and it is in the process of finalizing same. Moreover, it has scheduled visit with respect to refuse collection activities. On its part, The Municipal Council of Wakwa Phoenix organized a yearly sensitization exercise through its safety and health officer, senior safety and health officer, with all refuse collectors. The last exercise was effected on the 20th of March 2024. This exercise will be held on a more frequent basis. A risk assessment has also been carried out to identify the risk areas, and Council is monitoring same. I therefore reassure the House that safety measures are being taken by both the government and local authorities in the interest of the employees of the Council. Mr. Speaker, I'm informed by the Council that on the day of the accident, it has been reported by the health officer in charge of the said scavenging section that all the refuse collectors were wearing the personal protective equipment.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. Je présente également mes sincères condoléances à la famille L de Sadali. Comme l'a si bien dit le vice-premier ministre, un accident similaire s'est produit il y a 9 mois et aucune compensation n'a été accordée à la famille de Monsieur MS. Peut-on savoir du vice-premier ministre quel soutien et quelle indemnisation ont été apportées à la famille L de Sadali? Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have that information, but I can ask it. I don't have that information with me, but I have to check with the Municipal Council of Wakwa Phoenix.
Monsieur le Président, le 5 décembre 2023, j'ai posé une question au vice-premier ministre concernant un accident. Donc, en l'espace de 6 mois, Monsieur le Président, 3 accidents, 2 morts, un paralysé.
No, put your question.
I'm coming.
You are coming with a supplementary question, so it should be direct. Don't make comments, observations, and analyses, and all these, you know?
Le vice-premier ministre est-il au courant, depuis qu'il m'a répondu il y a 6 mois de cela, est-il au courant que la sécurité et les conditions de travail des travailleurs de la municipalité de Wakwa est vraiment en difficulté? Pas de fils net, Monsieur le Président, dans les voitures. Est-ce que le vice-premier...
Let him reply.
Je dois lui demander?
But go first.
Okay. Est-ce qu'il est au courant de l'état des camions de la municipalité de Wakwa? Sur 20 camions, 8 camions sont en panne et les camionneurs, les éboueurs sont obligés de travailler dans ces camions.
This is not a question. This is not a supplementary question. It may be a PQ for next time. If this is not a supplementary question. So I don't allow this question. Let's go to the next question. The next question, Honorable Uchit.
B 460.
Sorry.
So for VPM Hasnu.
Yep. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the District Council of Pamplemousse that it has distributed 1,282 pairs of household plastic bin from January 2023 to date. This distribution has been done in the villages which have not received bin during the first distribution from the 3rd of July 2021 to the 30th of January 2022. I'm tabling a detailed list of bin distributed from January 2023 to date in each village with their respective dates. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm also informed that a press communique was made by the Council on the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th of April 2024 to inform all residents to collect their bin if ever they have not received same. The District Council has also met the primary school head teachers on the 15th of May 2024 and is providing the school with a set of 15 bins.
As the Honourable Minister informs the House, what criteria has been used by the District Council to determine the allocation of the plastic bin to each villages, because most villages has not received their bins yet?
You know, actually, from the list that I'm going to circulate, Mr. Speaker, sir, almost all the villages have received their bin. And those who have not received it, that's why the second exercise was done, to make sure that they get it.
What was the total budget allocated for the distribution of the plastic bins and how much of this budget has been utilized so far?
Let me see if there's information for the budget. No, I don't have the information on the budget, Mr. Speaker. Sorry. No, I don't have the information on the budget. But
So we move to the next question. Honorable Badar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B461.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that 2.1 million liters of alcohol and spirits beverages have been imported from 1st January 2024 to 19th June this year. As regards Part A of the question, the import value amounts to 530 million rupees. Concerning Part B of the question, the total amount of taxes collected is 779 million rupees.
I have two questions, Mr. Speaker, sir. And can we know can we have a list of the countries of origin from where the imports have been done?
We'll table it. I don't have it in my possession, actually.
So, Mr. Speaker, is how many of bottles were sold duty-free?
No, this information I don't have, actually.
Next
Maybe you can
question.
come up with another question later.
Honorable Osman Mohamed.
Yes, sir. B462.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Metro Express project is the most innovative and transformative project ever undertaken in Mauritius, as it is contributing towards the modernization of our public transport system by providing a safe, efficient, sustainable, and alternative mode of transport. This project has been implemented in several phases as follows. Phase 1, Port Louis to Rosehill, which started its commercial service on the 10th of Jan 2020. Phase 1 to 2A, Port Louis to Quatre-Bornes, starting its commercial service on the 20th of June 2021. Phase 1 to A to B, Port Louis to Phoenix, starting its commercial service on the 8th of May 2022. Phase 1 to A to C, Port Louis to Cupip, on the 10th of October 2022. And the Phase 1, 2, 3, Port Louis to Cupip and Rosehill to Réduit, 23rd of Jan 2023. Presently, sir, the Metro Express project comprises of 30 kilometers of railway track passing through 5 major towns, 21 light rail stations, and 18 light rail vehicles. The alignment is designed to connect 6 major bus interchanges, namely Port Louis, Victoria, the Immigration Square, Rosehill, Quatre-Bornes, Vaqua, and Cupip, thus enabling a multimodal urban transit solution. Further to the implementation of the Metro Express project, some 45,000 passengers are enjoying a safe, comfortable, quick, and affordable transport, and which is environmentally sustainable on a daily basis. In fact, I am informed by the Metro Express Limited that over 30 million passengers have already traveled by this mode of transport so far. In this respect, the Metro Express project should not be assessed solely on the basis of financial returns, and we need to see beyond figures due to the numerous benefits, both on the economic and social fronts linked with this project. Sir, given the complex nature of this project, involving technical risk and due diligence, the services of consulting firms were enlisted to ensure that all the necessary measures and concepts are considered and implemented to enable a safe, secure, and a functional light rail system in accordance with international best practices. This is a normal international practice for such a mega, multifaceted, and interdisciplinary infrastructure project. Furthermore, the overall project was considered as a network of systems, which means that the project was built up on various subsystems, and each one of them was tackled as an individual system, bearing in mind its hard and soft characteristic integrated into a holistic system approach. To ensure overall confidence in the project, 5 levels of assurance were implemented, from the design to implementation phase, throughout the life cycle of this project. A team of multidisciplinary experts, both local and international, with established reputation in their respective domains, were thus involved to ensure safe planning, execution, and implementation of the light rail transit system. So the consultancy services of the following firms were retained for the Metro Express project. Lawson and Toubro, which following the procurement exercise for phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of the project, was appointed as the main engineering, procurement, and construction contractor on this project for a fixed lump sum contract. The latter had an internal assurance process, design approval verifications, and approval processes to ensure the delivery of the project as per the contract requirements. Secondly, the project consultancy management by Rights Limited from August 2017 to June 2023, as part of the funding requirements under the line of credit agreement with the Government of India, a project management consultant was appointed. Since the project was financed by the Government of India, an Indian company, namely RITES, RITES, was selected by that government and subsequently appointed by Mauritian authorities. RITES Limited was responsible to carry out supervision tasks in relation to the Metro Express works, installation of infrastructure, electrical and mechanical systems, assist the Metro Express Limited in defining the safety, environment, quality and risk management, report and monitor for the construction, pre-operation and commissioning, provide assurance support for commissioning, and address any issues on the system integration and operation readiness and certified payments. Thirdly, under the G2G agreement between the Government of Mauritius and the Government of Singapore, the Singapore Cooperation Enterprise was enlisted to provide delivery support and advisory services, and to ensure that the concept design of the project was being effectively implemented by the engineering, procurement, and construction contractor. Under the delivery support and advisory services, the scope of works comprised of the design and construct delivery services, which focus on the design and contract management integration, issues resolution, refinements, provision of technical support, and briefings, and support the MEL on other enabling aspects related to the development of the project, and ensure that the concept design is implemented effectively. There was a need to capacity build the operation and maintenance team of the Metro Express Limited to ensure that the staff and the executives are well trained and equipped with the necessary expertise to operate and maintain the light rail network. Therefore, in September 2018, the services of the Singapore Cooperation Enterprise, Singapore Mass Rapid Transit, were resorted for the provision of operation readiness services for the Metro Express Limited in terms of support for effective operations and maintenance, recruitment and staff development and training to enable efficient Metro Express operations and maintenance. And fourthly, Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with international practice for railways, the services of an independent safety audit consultancy firm were also enlisted to ensure that the system is safe for commercial operations. The scope of the independent safety audit comprised assessing the design, implementation, manufacture, installation, the operation and maintenance organization processes and techniques that comply to the railway standards. For each phase, before transitioning to operation, an individual independent safety audit was carried out by a team of international multidisciplinary experts in railway assurance, infrastructure design, operations and maintenance assurance. Sixthly, Mr. Speaker, sir, approvals were also obtained from all relevant authorities at each stage of the project implementation. With respect to the total fees paid for these consultancy services, Mr. Speaker, sir, same amount to 1.4 billion rupees representing 6% of the total construction cost of the project, out of which 4% has been allotted for the project management consultant rights limited, and the remaining is for the other consultancy services since the implementation of the project.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to have a breakdown from the Honourable Minister for each consultant, how much was paid, but I thought he would have table. So can I ask the Honourable Minister whether in the light of the problems being faced by Metro, traffic jam, flooding, security and accidents, and profitability, there are any consultancy being done on these fronts?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I must inform the honourable member that, in fact, with regard to the question that he has asked, Mr. Speaker, sir, a team of multidisciplinary local and international experts, as I said, with established reputation in their respective domains, were involved to ensure the safe planning and execution and implementation of the system. MEL has been working collaboratively with all the relevant local authorities, including the LDA, the NDU, the RDA, municipal and district councils, and others with regards to the drainage system all along the metro corridor. And as for any other works, Mr. Speaker, sir, MEL and LNT have been following all the procedures and approval requirements with the relevant authorities, especially the LDA. With regard to the drainage system, detailed drainage designs have been submitted to the LDA for the recommendations and approvals, and only upon receiving the necessary clearances, works have been carried out on site.
This question, I think, has sufficiently been canvassed. We move to the next question. Honourable Mia.
B463.
Honourable Sagano.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the honourable member for giving me another opportunity to enlighten the House with regard to the online services at the being undertaken at the NLTA currently. Sir, I am informed by the NLTA that vehicle growth is keeping an ascending trend over the years. Today, our vehicle fleet stands at 686,704, with an annual increase of around 4.4%. And these figures did not change. This percentage did not even change during the COVID years, Mr. Speaker, sir. This has resulted, of course, in an upsurge in the number of transactions at the level of the NLT counters, involving more than 27 operations on a monthly basis. I wish to inform the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in accordance with the Road Traffic Act and NLTA Act, the main transactions at the level of the NLTA counters involve more than 27,000 operations on a monthly basis. I wish to inform the House and the honourable member, which I'm sure he knows about, already knows about this, that in accordance with the Road Traffic Act and the NLTA Act, the main transactions effected by the NLTA include, among others, payment of motor vehicle license for company, other vehicles operating under a PSVL, issue of certificat de gage sans déplacement, transfer of ownership of vehicle, issue of removal permits, reissue, loss of registration book, that is the horsepower, amendments to particulars of vehicle, re-registration of vehicles, inscription/removal of lien, change of name and address, and copy of entry of vehicles. In line with government vision, sir, towards promoting digitalization for ease of doing business, improving customer service and experience while streamlining procedures and processes, the NLTA has already embarked on several online services. Given that the renewal and payment of motor vehicle license, MVL, is a transaction with the highest frequency, an online MVL platform was introduced in November 2018, enabling owners of private vehicles only to pay their road tax, that is the déclaration, online without the need to call at the NLTA counters physically. The online MVL platform provides for the different payment modes as per the integrated payment system of the Bank of Mauritius. This e-service is a one-stop service available from the comfort of home, where users are able to make online payment for MVL by virtually connecting to the NLTA system and the insurance system. The envisaged e-service portal would provide the following benefits: improve the work processes and businesses of the NLTA, provide timely management information for decision-making, enhance the level of service delivered to stakeholders, better control on revenue collection, and significant minimization of risk of fraudulent fake documents, and new user-friendly portal for dissemination of information and service. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, there has not been a proper uptake of this platform, as most vehicle owners still call at the NLTA counters and post offices for the renewal and payment of their MVL. As such, my ministry is proposing for a cut-off date of 31st July 2024 for the renewal of MVL by owners of private vehicles initially, which involves some 350,000 vehicles. As many vehicle owners had been effecting transactions regarding renewal of MVL only at the post offices, in this case, a transition period up to 1st December 2024 would be given for such transactions to be effected at the post office only and not applicable at the NLTA counters. Accordingly, sir, the renewal and payment of MVL by owners of private vehicles would have to be carried out solely through the online MVL platform as from 2nd of December this year. A help desk is being set up by the NLTA to assist users encountering problems while using the online system. Furthermore, a sensitization campaign is being organized to inform the public about this service. Speaker, sir, an online platform is also available to the public since June 2020 with regard to the reservation and purchase of registration mark comprising a combination of two letters from FN to ZZ, followed by numeric figures from 1 to 100 to 1,000, subject to exceptions. Additionally, with the introduction of personalized registration mark comprising a combination of 3 to 9 letters, followed by numerical between 1 to 999, depending on the number of alphabets and subject to exceptions, the public may, with reserve or purchase, these personalized registration marks online. The online registration for motor dealers is yet another online platform, which has been introduced in September 2023 to enable motor vehicle dealers to conduct the first registration process for new and second-hand motor vehicles at the comfort of their offices. This system also provides motor dealers the facility to print horsepower at their end via the platform. The payment module relating to this platform is being fine-tuned, and same is expected to be operational by end of June 2024. Arrangements are also underway for the enlistment of all motor vehicle dealers on this online platform, and as at date, Mr. Speaker, 4 major vehicle dealers are using this facility. The NLT has been requested to ensure the registration of all motor vehicle dealers, including second-hand motor vehicle dealers, by end of this year to reduce the number of customers calling at its counters. Arrangements, Mr. Speaker, sir, with a view to facilitate this process and making the transfer of motor vehicle less of a hassle, the Road Traffic Act is being amended to allow the Registrar General Department to ascertain through its platform and lawful sharing of information between the NLTA as to whether a motor vehicle or trailer is burdened with a lien prior to the registration and transfer same. The aim of this is to make more convenient and less time-consuming both for the former and the new owner. This is with regard to the certificat de gaz sans déplacement, Mr. Speaker, sir. And being given that the Registrar General Department already has the appropriate platform, which is providing the taxation and registration of transfer vehicle, this system would be enhanced to cater for the verification of any lien on a motor vehicle or trailer prior to the registration of transfer and transfer of ownership of same. Mr. Speaker, sir, this system would initially be introduced for cases of an individual to another individual, so that the NLTA would continue to cater for all other cases for the certificat de gaz sans déplacement. A sensitization campaign would be organized to inform the public on the new arrangement for the transfer of owner of a motor vehicle or trailer. Necessary amendments are being made today, in fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, under the Road Traffic Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are aware that this process for transfer of ownership is time-consuming for customers. There are currently some 51,000 certificats de gaz sans déplacement, which are issued mostly at the Emmanuel Antil building on a yearly basis for the purposes of the sale of vehicle, individual to individual, company to individual, individual to company, and company to company, and other instances involving three processes, namely the issue of the certificat de gaz sans déplacement, which is manually effected by the NLTA, the registration of the vehicle and payment thereof, which is effected seamlessly online by the Registrar General Department, and finally, the transfer of ownership and issue of the horsepower manually at the level of the NLTA. So as we can see, there are three processes, Mr. Speaker, sir, which will be reduced once the bill is adopted today by way of the Road Traffic Amendment Act. Therefore, in order to lessen the hardship of customers, my ministry is working in close collaboration with the Registrar General Department, the NLTA, and the AG's office to cater for this NLTA process online, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker. Despite everything that has been said by the Honourable Minister in his reply, can I ask the Honourable Minister, why is it that we still have very long queues at NLTA offices? And also, is he satisfied with NLTA website portal and the service that is being offered?
Mr. Speaker, since this question was only with regard to the online services to be offered by the NLTA, I did not touch upon other issues like the staffing issues. You know, for the past years, the NLTA has been understaffed, Mr. Speaker, sir. I will not go into the details. But yesterday, 5 new MSOs have been posted at the NLTA, and now the total amount of MSOs which has been transferred to the NLTA in the recent days, recent weeks, amounts to about 61. I am speaking under the correction of the Honourable Minister of Civil Service Affairs, Mr. Speaker, sir. Understaffing has been a major problem. And so we have solved this problem, at least for the moment. And this is why these days we don't hear of the long queues and of the problems that we have been having during these past weeks. So the staffing problem has been resolved. All the counters, Mr. Speaker, sir, and you know, we have 52 counters, Mr. Speaker, sir, distributed at Cassis, Forestside, Flac, and the sub-office at Portrees. So today we have sufficient staff to man all these counters. This is one important point. The second point, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are adding additional counters, and we are at the moment discussing with the Minister of Local Government, and we are going in the days to come, Mr. Speaker, sir, to also set up new counters at Victoria Urban Terminal. Level 2 of this building will be rented by the NLTA to provide more counters for owners of motor vehicles, Mr. Speaker, sir. And in addition, as I said, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have already embarked on the on different services, online services, Mr. Speaker, sir, and we are satisfied with the measures that we are taking right now. We will bring solution to the problem of the NLT. We are confident about this, Mr. Speaker.
I move to the next question, Honorable Joanna Béranger.
Et 464.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with Section 12 of the Animal Welfare Act 2013, the Mauritius Society for Animal Welfare, MSOR, is established as a body corporate operating under the aegis of my ministry. Therefore, the Society carries out all its procurement activities in strict compliance with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act 2006 and legal instruments under the Act. With regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed that in June 2021, the Worldwide Veterinary Services, WVS, had on its own submitted a project proposal with cost implications to implement the Humane Dog Management Program for Mauritius. The project proposal of the WVS was not accepted as it was not in response to a bidding exercise undertaken by the MSOR. On 9th May 2023, following an amendment made to Section 2 of the Animal Welfare Act 2013, with a view to providing a catch-neuter release, the Society launched an open international bidding exercise for the procurement of veterinary services to implement the catch, neuter and release program under the Sustainable Project for the Dog Population Control in Mauritius. I'm informed that only the WVS responded to the bidding exercise. The proposal did not have any cost implication, and the bid validity submitted by the WVS was far less than that specified in the bid document. As such, the bid was non-responsive to the requirement of the bid document and was not retained. On 29th January 2024, the Society conducted a second open international bidding exercise for the project. The only bid received was again from the WVS, and it was a price offer. I'm informed that the bid was non-responsive as the WVS did not submit any evidence of experience of its team in accordance with the specifications of the bidding document and could therefore not be retained again. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard Part B of the question, I'm informed that the Society has embarked on a soft launch of the CNR program on a pilot basis since 2023 with in-house resources. The number of stray dogs sterilized and released by the Society under the CNR program for the year 2023 and 2024 is 464 and 705 respectively, indicating 1,169 interventions so far. It is worth noting, Mr. Speaker, sir, that since July 2022 to date, the MSOR has sterilized 14,161 dogs, out of which 12,992 are owned dogs. I'm tabling the details of the CNR interventions.
La proposition de la World Veterinary Services, c'est-à-dire de procéder à la stérilisation de masse gratuitement, a été faite à la MSOR, au ministre et au ministère. Le ministre peut-il nous dire pourquoi est-ce qu'il n'a pourquoi est-ce que le ministère n'a pas choisi l'option de signer un accord ou un MOU, un Memorandum of Understanding, avec la World Veterinary Services pour cette stérilisation de masse, comme ça a été fait en 2019 avec la Humane Society International?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, in my main reply, I stated that the bid was received and the fact that it was not in compliance with the specification of the bidding document, the bidding committee couldn't retain that proposal. That's why they had to relaunch the bid. And on the second occasion, when they submitted their bids, they included a price on it, but on the second occasion, the team that was supposed to conduct that exercise, they did specify the expertise of the team. That's why, again, the panel didn't retain that offer.
Le ministre ne répond pas à ma question. Pourquoi avoir choisi l'option d'un appel d'offres plutôt que de signer un accord avec la World Veterinary Services qui proposait de faire ce travail de stérilisation gratuitement? Pourquoi avoir choisi l'option de l'appel d'offres plutôt qu'un accord?
Well, again, I'm saying they didn't. I mean, in the first option, they came up with that zero-cost offer, but in terms of validity time that they offered was much less than the one that the bidding document specified. And that is why it was not in conformity with the Public Procurement Act. And that's why the bidding committee could not accept that offer. And they went for a second launch. And on the second time, they came with an offer, but this time it was a cost associated with it. It was no more free.
Yes. Next question, MP Juman. I think this time you will need my guidance.
Big 466. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I wish to inform the House that the head office of the Financial Services Commission, FSC, is located at 54 Cyber City, Eben. As regards parts A and B of the question, I am informed by the FSC that there are currently 3 buildings on lease from the following lessors. 1, Mobank Limited and Vivo Energy for 2 adjacent office spaces at Clyde de Lex Arcade in Rodrigues at a monthly rental cost of 30,266.88 rupees and 21,966 rupees respectively. 2, Next Limited for office space at Next Tower building situated at Eben at a monthly cost of 2,075,951, and 3, PSH Investment Limited for office space at 7 Exchange Square building located at Eben at a monthly cost of 4,655,150 rupees.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
No, I haven't given you the floor. No, thank you. Why thank you for nothing? Let me give you my guidance now this time. Now you need my guidance. My guidance to you, Honorable Member, is this minister is not the substantive Minister of Finance, so you only have the right to put questions relating to what he answered, what he replied, and relating to what your question puts in the order paper.
He is a substantive minister because this is for FSC. Okay, thank you for your guidance.
What are you talking about?
No.
No question. You always want to have the last word. No question for you. We move on to the next question. Now, the next question would be Honorable Omir.
B467, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that for the period November 2019 to date, my ministry received a total of 22 applications for healthcare units, out of which 17 obtained a license, 3 were issued a no objection to proceed further, and 2 are still under process. 15 applications for private clinics, out of which 9 obtained a license, 5 were issued a no objection to proceed further, and 1 is still under process, and 22 applications for private laboratories, out of which 19 obtained a license, 2 were issued a no objection to proceed further, and 1 is still under process. With your permission, I'm tabling the required information.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the advice you gave regarding the minister, he is a substantive minister. FSC falls under his purview. So I don't understand your guidance.
Okay. The first one, what is it you said? FSC.
FSC.
If FSC falls under his purview,
yes.
Then your question should be related to the
Of
answer,
course, yes.
and also to what you stated as question in the order.
Yes.
This is my guidance.
Yes. Thank you.
So
can I proceed?
Wait. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I ask the Honourable Minister, in view of the increasing number of private institutions seeking to set up in Mauritius, has his ministry ensured from all of them that they have the necessary manpower, be it in terms of junior doctors and nursing staff, to provide a safe and efficient service before permits being issued to them?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Honourable Member. The ministry is guided by the Private Health Institutions Act. So in the Act, it's already mentioned whenever a license is being issued, so there are the conditions that has to be fulfilled, and that also is based upon the different conditions for the different setups as well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Minister, will he be able to share with the House whether the facility of having on board, at the very least, a 4-bedded intensive care unit for all new permits, and for those who are now requesting to renew their permits, since we are living in a very high-level care center?
Mr. Speaker, so far as it is, the provision is under the Private Health Institution Act, so we are going according to this Act. Now, this Act is under review. The Ministry has already called for a consultant so that we can review this Act, and soon we will be coming with a new Act where such provisions will be made as per the recommendations, as per the decisions that will be taken henceforth in the future.
Honorable Juan, you wanted a clarification.
Il y a tout. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Est-ce que je peux savoir de l'honorable ministre la date depuis que la FSC loue le bâtiment 7 Exchange Square appartenant à Monsieur Gopi? 7 Exchange Square.
Janvier de cette année-ci.
Second question.
Monsieur le Président, merci encore. Monsieur le ministre de la Bonne Gouvernance, vous venez de dire qu'on loue ça depuis janvier, mais pourquoi à ce jour c'est toujours inoccupé, alors qu'on paye 4,6 millions de roupies par mois?
Donc, j'ai été informé qu'ils vont rendre ce bâtiment, c'est-à-dire le Next Tower Building. Oui.
No cross-talking. This is the parliament.
Can you repeat the question?
On loue le bâtiment depuis janvier. On paye 4,6 millions de roupies par mois. On est en juillet. C'est toujours inoccupé. Pourquoi?
They have to furnish it because it has been rented unfurnished. Now they have to furnish to get the all the furniture and equipment installed and all that. Yeah.
Next question. MP. Which question would that be? Yours?
Oui, Monsieur le Président, B470.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as the House is aware, this government has set the objective to achieve 60% share of energy from renewable sources by 2030. One important element of this transition is decarbonization of the transport sector through a greener vehicle fleet. With a view to encouraging this shift, this government has abolished excise duty on hybrid and electric vehicles with effect from June 20th, 2022. In addition, government is granting a fiscal incentive of 200,000 rupees on the purchase of an electric vehicle as from 1st July 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is adopting a holistic approach to the issue of replacement of hybrid and electric car batteries, whereby any potential assistance for their replacement will be considered together with recycling strategies. In this context, I am also informed that the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities has prepared a 10-year electric vehicle integration roadmap 2020 for Mauritius, which provides, amongst others, for the elaboration of electric vehicles, financial incentives, including a national battery plan to ensure long-term battery sustainability. I am also informed that the Mauritius Renewable Energy Agency, MARENA, under the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities, has initiated a study on the development of an action plan for the recycling of used solar panel and electric vehicle batteries. Thank you, Mr. President.
Can I ask the Honourable Minister how many hybrid and electric cars are running presently in the country?
No, I don't have this information. Maybe you can come up with...
the Honourable Minister whether a date has been decided by government as regards to only hybrid and electric cars being imported into the country?
No, not yet.
Next question.
B472.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Irrigation Authority that there are 26 overhead irrigation systems on wheels, also known as centre pivot, in the Northern Plains Irrigation Project, which provide irrigation facilities to over 954 hectares of land belonging to small planters and which are essentially under sugarcane cultivation. For the region along the Triolé bypass, there are 2 centre pivot which serve some 200 planters. Unfortunately, these 2 centre pivot are for the time being not operational due to theft and vandalism. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir, these 2 centre pivot, which are located in remote regions, have been subject to frequent theft over the past few years. I'm told that the copper cables found in the pivot are being removed and stolen by thieves, thus damaging the pivot and altering irrigation activities in this area. Prompt action is taken by the Irrigation Authority each time to repair and replace the damaged parts. However, the copper cables are stolen again. This problem has been recurring for a number of times now, the last one being in January 2024. In view thereof, the Irrigation Authority has taken the following actions to curb the problem of theft of centre pivot. A. Regular patrols around the irrigation areas of at least 3 times during the night are carried out. A team of workers have been designated specifically for this purpose. B. The police has been requested to increase the frequency of its patrols near the Trio bypass in the vicinity of Center Pivot. C, the Irrigation Authority replaced all the copper electric cables with aluminium cables, following which a decrease in theft was noted, but vandalism continued. And D, finally, a security contractor has been hired to secure all the Center Pivot in the Northern Plains irrigation project by installing electric fencing and alarm system around the control panel areas of Center Pivot, together with the first response service, which notifies the Irrigation Authority's patrol team in case of any tampering with the equipment. The work is ongoing. Once the Center Pivot found along the Trio bypass are secured with the electric fence and alarm system, the stolen parts of the Center Pivot, which have already been procured, would be replaced. This is expected to be completed by end of June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the meantime, that the pivot are back to operation, the following measures have been taken by the Irrigation Authority to ensure proper water supply for irrigation to the 200 planters along the Trio bypass. A, the procurement of a specific hose reel meant to supply irrigation water to planters. B, a new scheme has been launched for the allocation of separate water abstraction points to enable planters to abstract water from the Irrigation Authority's network for crop irrigation. So far, 25 planters have subscribed to the scheme and are able to irrigate their fields. C, the Irrigation Authority is also encouraging the use of the drip irrigation method. It is to be noted that a grant of 150,000 rupees is being provided as from last financial year to allow planters to purchase drip irrigation equipment. 34 planters have benefited from this scheme as a date. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm circulating some pictures to show the situation in these fields. You will note that the drip irrigation that have been installed and the plantations are well irrigated. In view of the success of this scheme, it will be extended to planters encountering frequent irrigation problems, including those affected by the theft I mentioned earlier. And furthermore, the Irrigation Authority is contemplating to replace all old existing Center Pivot by new and more effective irrigation equipment to ensure a more reliable and consistent irrigation water system supply to planters of the northern region. This will cost quite an amount and will have to be undertaken over a number of years due to intensive capital investment required. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Has there been any assessment of the economic impact on the sugarcane and vegetable planters in the region due to the malfunctioning irrigation system, as you just mentioned? And what immediate support?
No. You know what is a supplementary? This is a PQ, very good PQ. Next time, but not now.
It's
very
short. Very short.
I give you a last chance. Put supplementary question.
Okay. Has there been any assessment of the economic impact on the sugarcane and vegetable planters in the region due to the malfunctioning irrigation system?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, you must be aware that this year we have been having regular rainfall. I mean, all over the island, of course, also in the northern area. So for this year, the rainfall has been sufficiently covered in that part of the island, whereby, as far as sugarcane plantation is concerned, they haven't noticed any kind of impact on the sugarcane fields affected in those areas.
Next question.
B473.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in the budget for fiscal year 2022-2021, government announced an historically unprecedented project to build over a period of 3 years 12,000 residential units across the island of Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, I'm informed that initially the project cost in respect of 12,000 units was estimated at approximately 21.6 billion rupees. However, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, Statistics Mauritius assessed in 1922 the increase in construction cost to be the equivalent of 30% as compared to 2018. According to Statistics Mauritius, there has been a further increase of around 3% in 2023 as compared to 2022. Now, contrary to what happened in other countries, such as New Zealand, where construction projects for social housing were abandoned following COVID-19, this government decided to stand by its commitment and to proceed with this mega project, albeit in a phased manner. Accordingly, government decided to build a first phase of 8,000 residential units, corresponding to 400 units per constituency, at an estimated cost, as at February 2023, of 2.74 million per unit, inclusive of on-site infrastructural works, again, unprecedented social amenities on site, and provision of novel provision of ecological measures such as rainwater harvesting, solar energy panels, and appropriate waste disposal systems. As at present, works are in progress on 37 sites across the island and will soon start on the last remaining site at Riambel for phase 1. It is expected that delivery of the 8,000 housing units will begin as from August next. Now, turning, Mr. Speaker, to the specifics of the question, with respect to Part A, I'm informed by the New Social Living Development Limited, NSLD, that the cost for the construction of the 8,000 residential units is now estimated to stand at around 21.9 billion rupees. As at 24th June 2024, I'm informed that the amount incurred and paid in that regard is approximately 8.8 billion rupees. As regards Part B, again, as per information provided by the NSLD, the cost of off-site infrastructural works stands at some 5.5 billion rupees. With regards to Part C, it is important to underline the fact that the state subsidy, the announced state subsidy in respect of cost of construction of each residential unit stands at an unprecedented 67%. And despite the significant increase in construction costs, government will endeavour to ensure that the final purchase price remains in the region of 900,000 rupees as previously announced.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will start with the last answer, the selling price of 900,000. In answer to previous PQs, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister had indicated that for people at the lower end of the social ladder, government was going to pay 80% subsidy, but now I heard him say 60%, 67%. So may I know why has these figures changed from 80% to 67%?
And the general rule remains 67%.
May I know from the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, being given that he has just announced that delivery will start in August, in 1.5 months' time, whether the NSLD has already worked out the income bracket of the beneficiaries. How many people earning less than 20,000 rupees will be eligible for the houses? How many under 30,000? Has the figures been worked out?
From what I recall, the ceiling of household income for eligibility remains fixed at 30,000 rupees per month. The NHDC has embarked in respect of the sites where construction will be completed first with a verification exercise, if I may so term it, of the applicants list at the NHDC to confirm who is eligible and who is not.
Yes. B474.
Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Municipal City Council of Port Louis that there is only one children playground at Saint-François Xavier Street, and it is presumed that the public garden mentioned in the question refers to this children playground. I'm also informed by the Municipal City Council of Port Louis that renovation works at the children playground were undertaken in September 2021, and the following play equipment was fixed thereat. Integrated play game, one double seesaw, one double swing, one spring rider, and one climber. I'm further informed that in April 2023, the following maintenance work were carried out at the children playground: painting of walls, benches, kiosks, and platform, cutting and trimming of trees, and minor repairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister for answering honestly by saying that it was renovated in 2021 because I live nearby, and I can tell the House that this garden, parents no longer send their child, their kids there, as all the equipments are very old. So can I ask the Honourable Minister if all the toy or the amenities, the toy equipment for the kids to play there could be changed, because it can no longer be repaired, it can no longer be renovated or rehabilitated. It should simply be changed.
Let the Minister reply.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in this present budget, in the 2024-2025, we have got additional finance in this budget. So once we receive it by next week, we'll start working on this, and we are going to replace the equipment and renovate the garden.
Next question, Mrs. Anchil.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. B475. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the National Children Council, which has the responsibility of the RCI in question, that minor AJFA, a male resident aged 14 years, was admitted at the RCI L'Oiseau du Paradis on the 25th of April this year, following an emergency protection order issued by the Children's Court. The minor absconded from the RCI on Sunday, the 5th of May, around 2 p.m. The staff of the shelter were mobilized to look for the minor in the immediate surroundings, but to no avail. The matter was then reported at Grand Bay Police Station on the same day. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to point out that as in all cases of absconding, there is an internal inquiry which is immediately initiated to establish the circumstances of the incident. The inquiry revealed that the minor took advantage of the fact that there were construction works ongoing at the shelter, and the minor made use of a barrel to climb over the boundary wall, which is around 2.3 meters high, and jumped on the other side. He then walked to a bus stop where he was given some money by a man. He took the bus to Port Louis, alighted at Saint-Croix, and walked home. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also informed that the minor was found safe and sound on the 7th of May by the police at Cité La Cure Traffic Center, along with his mother. He was immediately taken into custody and thereafter conveyed to G2 Hospital for a medical examination, where he was admitted for treatment related to his ailments, and there was also a psychiatric follow-up. Since his admission in the RCI, Mr. Speaker, sir, officers of my ministry inquired into the possibilities of his reintegration with his relatives. Consequently, upon his discharge from the hospital on the 13th of June, the case was brought before the Children's Court, and due to favorable reports, the minor was discharged to the care of his maternal grandmother. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the police inquiry, I am informed that since there is no element of any criminal offence, and based on the fact that the minor was found safe, the matter was classified. I wish to also inform the House that since the coming into operation of Cap Malheureux Relay Centre, this is the first time that such an unfortunate incident has occurred, and with a view of preventing its recurrence, the National Children Council has been directed to increase vigilance and to control, monitor movement of all minors within the premises of the shelter. In addition, the attention of caregivers and the security guards posted at the shelter has also been drawn regarding more alertness on site. Thank you.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. J'apprécie, pour une fois, l'honnêteté de la ministre. Pour une fois. Alors, par contre, Madame la ministre, vous êtes d'accord et j'apprécie votre franchise. C'est les travaux.
Don't talk to the minister, talk to the chair. Yes, look at me, talk to me.
I look at you and I talk to you. Alors, la ministre est-elle d'accord que le mardi 21 mai 2024, suite à ma PQ immatriculée B395, elle nous avait assuré...
This is not a supplementary question, I stop you there. This is not, I don't give you the chance. You are looking for too many chances. The next question would be for MP Osman Mohammed.
B476.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Municipal City Council of Port Louis that the contractor was AWL Trading and Contracting Limited. Based on the legal advice received from the legal advisor of the Municipal Council of Port Louis, the contract of the above-mentioned contractor was terminated due to several problems encountered during implementation of the project. A technical team of the MNICD was thereafter set up to supervise the project, prepare the drawings and bidding document for the reinforcement work at the ground floor as well, and for the completion of the remaining work on the first floor of the building. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by the Municipal City Council of Port Louis that bids have been invited on the 29th of March 2024 through e-procurement. The closing date of the bid was on the 7th of May 2024, with opening date on the 9th of May 2024. The bids are currently being evaluated at the level of the CPB. As regard to part B of the question, I'm informed that the revised cost estimate of the project is now 174.6 million rupees.
Can I ask the Honourable Minister whether the initial tender value was 68.7 million rupees and now it is the same project is being evaluated at 174 million rupees?
Yes, the initial costing was 68.7 million rupees, but that was mainly on the first floor. But now, from what the advice we have received now, we have to consolidate the ground floor as well. I think that the price has increased, Mr. Speaker.
Can I ask the Honourable Minister, how come the Municipal City Council of Port Louis has embarked on a project which cannot, on a first floor, which cannot sustain that weight? Because he said that the ground floor has to be reinforced. And we all know that the Municipal City Council of Port Louis is the ultimate authority issuing building and the use permit itself.
No, but I mean, there were people working on that. There were contractors, there were consultants. I mean, that was the advice. So the municipal council followed the advice that they have received.
Next question.
B478.
Speaker, sir. Government is keen on decarbonizing the land transport sector, and several measures have been taken through the previous budgets to accelerate the shift towards low-carbon emission vehicles. However, we need to bear in mind that electric bus technology is quite nascent in Mauritius, as we have only 3 such buses out of a fleet of some 2,000 buses. Out of the 3 electric buses, 1 is owned by the NTC and 2 by Rosil Transport Bus Service Limited. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the NTC is currently operating 1 electric bus of the BYD make since February 2022. I need to highlight that the above bus was used as a pilot in order for the NTC to become conversant with the technical parameters of electric buses and gather insights as to the operational requirements thereof prior to proceeding with the acquisition of additional such buses. However, as I stated in my reply to PQ B1664, discussions are ongoing with the Indian authorities for the sourcing of 200 electric buses for allocation to the NTC. The operation of these 200 new electric buses would in fact allow the corporation to achieve significant savings in terms of maintenance and fuel costs, as well as contributing in reducing the carbon footprint in the industry. Sir, I take this opportunity to inform the House that we have made several strides in our discussions with the Indian side, and the electric buses are expected to be delivered in batches during the course of this financial year 2024 to 2025. On the other hand, we are also expecting to receive 5 electric buses from the People's Republic of China, and for which arrangements are being made for the procurement of the necessary charging infrastructure. Accordingly, we are expecting that the NTC will be operating 206 electric buses possibly in the course of the next financial year. The fact remains that the sourcing of electric and diesel buses are very much different from one another, as diesel-propelled ones can be deemed as the off-shelf items, while for electric buses there is a whole ecosystem to be put in place, such as the charging infrastructure and training components for the bus crews and mechanics, as these buses cannot be operated and maintained in the same way as diesel ones. In fact, we have to acknowledge that the electrification of the bus fleet would have to be carried out in a phased manner. However, necessary actions are underway to assist the NTC for renewing its fleet with electric propelled buses, as mentioned above.
Donc le ministre vient confirmer qu'on n'a qu'un seul bus électrique. 2 ans, dans le budget de 2023, Monsieur le Président, le budget de 2024, le gouvernement a proposé d'acheter 100 bus. Et aujourd'hui, en 2024, le ministre vient nous dire que techniquement, c'est difficile. Est-ce que le ministre va expliquer à la Chambre pourquoi ces 2 ans, en 2023 et 2024, parce que le bus a été acheté en 2022, pourquoi les 100 bus préconisés dans les budgets n'ont pas été achetés comme par d'autres compagnies qui achètent des bus électriques?
Monsieur le Président, je n'ai jamais dit que le projet est un projet difficile. Ce que j'ai dit, Monsieur le Président, c'est que l'acquisition de 100 bus se fera dans un package suite à un accord qu'on a eu avec l'Inde. En effet, Monsieur le Président, c'était en 2023 que moi-même personnellement, j'avais discuté avec le ministre des Affaires étrangères de l'Inde, M. Jaishankar, et puis après quelques semaines, le Premier ministre est allé finaliser les discussions, and it was at this time that this package was obtained by our government. And we are very thankful to the government of India, Mr. Speaker, sir, for having been willing to donate 100 electric buses, and we can compute the amount that this represents, Mr. Speaker, sir, even if for 1 second, we all know the prices of electric buses today. One electric bus at the minimum costs about 10 million Merchant rupees. So that means 1 billion rupees of grant from the government of India. And the other 100 buses will have to be acquired on a letter of credit basis. So this is the package, Mr. Speaker, sir. It was not a question of trying to buy from other sources. India offered to give us 100 buses as a donation and 100 buses which we were prepared to acquire on an LC basis. So this is the delay, Mr. Speaker, sir, in procuring the electric buses has already been given in this Assembly in a former PQ which I answered, Mr. Speaker, sir. As I said, this project of electrification of the NTC fleet would be undertaken under a G2G agreement, which has involved wide and regular consultations between the two parties. All the relevant processes have had to be followed. All the necessary clearances had to be obtained at the level of both our countries. Extensive discussion, Mr. Speaker, sir, had to be held prior to both sides agreeing on the technical specifications of the electric buses so that the requirements, therefore, are properly framed and meet the local context. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, we had been discussing over 36 different specifications and 32 of them were cleared. Then it took us some time more to clear 3 other specifications: the lifetime of the battery, the corrosion aspect of the buses, and the AC, whether the buses would be provided with AC or not. If an electric bus is provided with air conditioning facilities, Mr. Speaker, sir, it means 20% less of electricity. That is, the AC will consume 20% of electricity. So I'm informing the House, our buses which we will be receiving from India will be not provided with AC because at the end of the discussion, we thought it would be in the interest of Mauritius to acquire such buses. So what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure the honourable member would understand that, it took some time to finalize all the specifications. We cannot, even if we are getting a bus free, accept a bus with a battery of 3 years, lifetime battery with 3 years. I'm sure nobody would accept that, Mr. Speaker, sir. So we discussed also on the lifetime of the battery. And so all this took some time, Mr. Speaker, sir. Each party was required also to hold consultation with the local stakeholders, reverting back to the other party, trying to move ahead with each project milestone. Then a tendering exercise is being undertaken at the level of the Indian authorities prior to the placement of the purchase order. All these, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm sure the House will understand, have had an impact on the time frame of the project, and we cannot depart from the established procedure in as much as I said this involves, the deal involves two-state a G2G agreement, Mr. Speaker. So, as I said, e-technology is much more complex than the acquisition of diesel propelled buses, the NTC, and also the other bus operators, because we have also other local bus operators, Mr. Speaker, sir, are sourcing, familiar with the sourcing of diesel buses, realize that procurement of electric buses are not routine ones. In the case of electric buses, Mr. Speaker, sir, there are several issues to be considered: charging infrastructure and connection to the grid, training of drivers to operate the buses, upskilling the mechanics for the maintenance of the electric buses, sourcing of specific spare parts, redesigning the depot layouts, identifying routes which are most suitable for the electric buses based on terrain condition. So much time was devolved, Mr. Speaker, so to carry out this desk search to identify the best technology available on the market, given that e-mobility also, Mr. Speaker, is fast evolving, and one technology may leapfrog one another, Mr. Speaker. So attention has been paid by the NTC, by government, into assessing the most suitable type of buses adopted for our country, as there is no one-size-fits-all the e-bus solution. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, to answer the honourable member, there has been neither any excessive delay, no red tapeism, inasmuch as this exercise involves two-party states where each of them needs to have internal discussions with their own relevant stakeholders. Additionally, given the novelty, the magnitude of this undertaking, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Questions
I am sure I have answered all your calls.
Questions sufficiently canvassed. So I inform the House that the table has been advised that following PQs have been withdrawn: 465, 480, 484, 485, 486, 490, 491, 483. I now call MP Hotil.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. B 481, merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Child Development Unit of my ministry that minor LJ, 13 years, and minor KM, 15 years, who were admitted in shelter Pew Mine Haven on the 19th of July last year and 26th of April this year, respectively, following emergency protection orders issued by the Children's Court, absconded from the said shelter on the 23rd of May 2024 around 10:30 p.m. When the caregivers noticed their absences, they reported the matter at Vakwa Police Station immediately. However, on the 5th of June, they were found safe at the residence of the place of the mother of minor KM. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, as in all cases of absconding, an internal inquiry is initiated to establish the circumstances of the incident. The inquiry revealed that they absconded through a window and went to the place of the mother of minor KM. Both minors also stated that they were eager to go back to their familial environment so that they can meet their friends. Based on that, they were provided with psychological support, active listening, counseling regarding the time taken to rehabilitate the family from where they come from and their eventual reintegration. With regard to the police inquiry, I am informed that statements have been recorded from both minors and that no harm whatsoever was caused against them during their getaway, and that inquiry is still in progress. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also wish to inform the House that the process of reintegration for minor KM was already initiated well before she absconded from the shelter, and I am informed that she was handed over back to her biological father on the 12th of June 2024. As regards minor LJ, reintegration within the familial environment is not to be envisaged at this stage, since the parent are unfortunately heavy substance abusers. The risk of deprivation of basic needs such as food, hygiene, education could come up due to the conditions of the parents. And in view of preventing that recurrence, the shelter manager has been directed to take remedial actions and increase vigilance at the shelter. Thank you.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre si c'est normal que la grand-mère de l'adolescente KM ait été informée de la fuite de l'adolescente du shelter 12 jours après l'incident? Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as a matter of fact, the grandmother in question, I don't know exactly when she was informed about, but the maternal grandmother did not have parental responsibility of the minors. The parental responsibility when the minor is within the RCI c'est la responsabilité de l'État. When we had removed those kids, those children from the place of distress, which is a place where they were being neglected, the responsibility was not that of the grandmother. So, in fact, when we find the children or the police manage to locate the absconded minors, it is the person who has la responsabilité parentale qui est informée en premier lieu. So, not the grandmother.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre si elle est au courant de l'absence de discipline dans cet abri de Pure My Heaven, permettant même aux résidents de sortir la nuit à leur guise? Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if the honourable member is in possession of such damning information, I would kindly invite you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to invite her to come forward instead of just coming to the House and alleging. Thank you.
You're informed to come forward if you're serious. Huh? So, time over. Motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. Question that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it.
Statements by ministers, non-public bills, third reading.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the appropriation 2024-2025 bill number 4 of 2024 be read a third time and passed.
Seconded. Question is that the appropriation 2024-2025 number 4 of 2024 be read the third time and passed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it.
Public bill, second reading.
Gano.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the Road Traffic Amendment Bill number 7 of 2024 be read a second time. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Road Traffic Act is a complex legislation encompassing various transport-related matters, including but not limited to the registration, licensing, and examination of vehicles, as well as road safety matters. The Act also caters for the powers and functions of the National Land Transport Authority, which is the land transport regulator. The last time the Act was amended in July 2023, it was done to improve the standard and the level of bus services, streamline the licensing process in connection with the public service vehicle licenses at the level of the NLTA, as well as to review the cumulative road traffic offences system. Mr. Speaker, sir, connectivity and mobility are crucial for the socio-economic development of a country, acting as an enabler, linking producers to markets, workers to jobs, students to schools, the sick to hospitals, and people to leisure. My ministry, to ensure the freedom of movement of our citizens, responds to the mobility needs of our citizens by ensuring island-wide connectivity through public transportation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the number of registered vehicles on our road network as at April 2024 stands at 686,704,000, and there is an average increase of 4% annually. Ownership of a vehicle is no more a luxury, but a tool for enhanced mobility, and we can expect the number of private vehicles on our roads to maintain an increasing trend. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the increase in number of registered vehicles on our roads, the number of transactions in connection to the change of ownership of vehicles has also increased over the past years. In turn, this has resulted in sharp increase in the number of persons calling at the NLTA for the registration of their motor vehicles, as for the issue of a certificate de gage, resulting in long awaiting queues at the level of the NLTA. We are very well aware of the hassles faced by the public whenever they call at the NLTA, and this is why we have come up with several remedial measures to reduce the queuing time and enhance the customer experience. For this reason, we are investing heavily in digitalizing NLTA services, as we are keen on leveraging on IT solutions to streamline processes and for seamless operations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the renewal of motor vehicle license, also commonly referred as déclaration, is among one of the transactions for which countless of owners of motor vehicles call at the NLTA on a daily basis. In fact, even if phase 1 of the online renewal of MVL is operational since November 28 in respect of private-owned motor vehicles, that is some 350,000 vehicles, members of the public still prefer to call at the NLTA counters, and as we are moving towards an increased reliance on e-services, it has been decided to set a cut-off date of 31st of July 2024, wherein all renewal of MBL will have to be made only to the online platform instead at NLTA counters. However, in order to cater for a smooth transition towards online services, a delay of up to 1st of December 2024 will be provided for such transactions to be physically effected at the post offices. In order to assist the public during this transaction, a help desk is being set up at the level of the NLTA to assist users who might have issues while using the online system. On the other hand, phase 2 of the online MBL platform involving other types of vehicles is expected to go live before the end of this year. Similarly, as we intend to push for e-services, an online first registration of motor vehicles was launched in May 2023, wherein 4 major dealers are now using this digital tool, and additional vehicle dealers will be encouraged to make use of this platform for registration of motor vehicles, and in turn, this will reduce the need for individuals to physically call at the NLTA. This system will be further enhanced to allow for electronic payment. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to acknowledge, amidst the constant increase in the number of transactions recorded on a daily basis, that the NLTA was not adequately manned to cope with the increasing workload, and this had an impact on the level of service. However, we did remain aloof, and necessary actions were promptly initiated to reinforce the staffing position of the NLTA with the posting of additional officers to serve its counters. Accordingly, the number of officers at the counters have been increased from 27 to 69, so that all the 51 counters of the NLTA, including those at its sub-officers, could operate seamlessly. Monsieur le Président, c'est dans cette optique que la NLTA a mis en place des guichets spéciaux dédiés à mettre des certificats de gage sans déplacement au bâtiment Emmanuel Antil à Port-Louis, afin de pouvoir traiter plus d'applications, mais aussi pour éviter à ce que les personnes se déplacent à 2 reprises entre la NLTA de Cassis et le bureau du Registrar général. On a connu un bon début, mais par la suite, au fur et à mesure, avec le nombre grandissant d'applications à traiter quotidiennement, le système est dépassé et nous a poussé à venir avec des solutions plus appropriées afin de mieux répondre aux besoins du public. So this is where this bill comes into play, as the various clauses therein aim at improving current procedures pertaining to the transfer of ownership of vehicles. Furthermore, the road safety issue being high on our agenda, and in order to further curb down the number of road casualties, this bill is coming with various amendments to dissuade road users from committing road traffic violations. Mr. Speaker, sir, as detailed in the explanatory memorandum, this bill intends to cater for situations witnessing the transfer of ownership of a motor vehicle or trailer between 2 individuals, and whereby no certificate de gage sans déplacement will be required from the NLTA for the registration of the transfer of ownership by the Registrar General. Instead, the transfer in the ownership of that motor vehicle will be registered, provided that the Registrar General is satisfied, following verification on the database of the NLTA, that the motor vehicle or trailer bears no lien. Secondly, allow for the use of structures and objects that are during a procession carried, pushed, pulled, or led on a road to be properly regulated. Thirdly, increase penalties with regard to some offences. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Road Traffic Act 1962 is the overarching piece of legislation regulating traffic on our roads. It also permeates to road safety and provides for a number of road traffic offences in order to maintain orderly use of our road infrastructure. It is apposite to note that given the dynamic nature of transport operations, coupled with evolution in the field of road safety, the Road Traffic Act had over the past decade been amended on various occasions to make it more stringent for road users not observing the various provisions therein, with a view to making our roads safer. In the same vein, and with a view to curing some gaps in the legislation, in 2019, the Act was amended to make it an offence for a person to drive a vehicle whilst being under the influence of a drug or an intoxicating substance. The law came in force in June 2022, and since then, Mr. Speaker, sir, 165 cases have been registered for the period of June 2022 to December 2022. 892 cases have been registered for year 2023, and 219 cases have been registered only for January and February 2024. With the rise in the rate of motorization, sir, and increased mobility in our country, and the limited road space to accommodate same, congestion is one of our main concern, and we need to ensure that this space is used in a safe manner by all our road users. Added to that, Mr. Speaker, sir, it has been observed that during some festivals, the traffic fluidity on our roads is further reduced, mainly to mass convergence towards specific locations. This situation is aggravated by the conveyance of oversized structures causing traffic delays, which at times poses road safety risk, and we could not remain impassible to this situation. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is with deep regret that we witness the tragic demise of several young people for the past 2 years, mainly due to processions involving structures and public roads. These two incidents, which have left an indelible imprint in our memory and which was very distressing to the whole nation. Unfortunately, as it stands today, there is no specific and binding provisions in place as regards the use of such structures or objects which are carried, pushed, pulled, or led during a procession on a road. To that end, in order to address this gap in our legislation, we had to make relevant provisions for regulating the conveyance of such structures. This is why we have introduced this bill, as we do not wish such incidents to occur anew. Mr. Speaker, sir, the average number of fatal road accidents taken over the last 5 years is 126. Since last year, we have observed a rise whereby it reached 130 in 2023, with 138 killed on our road. Unfortunately, the trend during this year is still on the rise and has reached 61 for period starting 1st January this year to 16th of June. We have also observed that the most vulnerable road users are usually motorcyclists, representing 45% of all fatalities, followed by pedestrians, accounting for 23% of fatalities. This is due to the direct physical exposure to impacts during a road crash. It is also to be noted that most of our accidents are caused due to reckless behavior by motorists and pedestrians. This is why we are coming with bold measures aiming to make our roads safer and to act as a stronger deterrent against rash and negligent behaviors. Mr. Speaker, sir, it was also found that the age group of motorcyclists who are most at risk are within the age band of 16 to 30 years old, representing 43% of all motorcycle fatalities, followed by the age group of 31 to 45 years. It has also been observed that 30% of all killed and serious injury crashes involve holders of provisional driving license, learner as we call them, and 16% were riding without a driving license. The causes of crashes are many, with the main contributing causes being overspeeding as well as drink and drug driving. Mr. Speaker, sir, in addition to enforcement, my ministry is also favouring engineering and education as its strategy to enhance the level of safety on our roads. A safe system approach has been adopted by the TMRSU while implementing infrastructural projects so as to make our roads more forgiving. What this means, Mr. Speaker, is that the road safety strategy is much broader as it encapsulates several considerations, such as improvement of road furniture and detailed reconfigurations are planned and executed to reduce the probability and severity of accidents. Laws have been strengthened in the past years, and let me share some information with the House with regard to the outcome thereof. During year 2023, some 263,348 road traffic contraventions were established. For year 2024, and as at end of May, 125,955 such contraventions have already been issued. Under the cumulative road traffic offence system for the year 2022, the driving license of 30 persons were cancelled and they were disqualified for driving. 31 licenses were cancelled in 2023, and for the year 2024, as at 17th of June, the number of disqualified licenses amounts to 13. Mr. Speaker, sir, the figures speak for themselves. And at the level of my ministry, we are aiming to change the mindset and attitude of road users through a multi-pronged approach comprising education and awareness, improvement of road infrastructure, and use of intelligent systems to track down road traffic violations. Improvement of our road infrastructure and enforcement are ongoing in terms of massive investments in improving our road furniture and in the installation of road safety devices. Mr. Speaker, sir, belly sharp beacons are regular features to better warn road users on pedestrian crossing. And we raise tables are being installed across the island to reduce speeding and enhance safety at junctions. We also invested significantly in equipping our roads with safety measures to enhance visibility, reviewed signage and markings, as well as a continued treatment of hazardous spots. Same goes for awareness and sensitization. Several infrastructural upgrades have been made in various regions across the island to improve the road design and the installation of protective equipment to enhance road safety. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, during the last 2 financial years, some 189 million rupees were spent for acquisition of road safety assets and works, while an amount of 236 million rupees was utilized during the course of this present financial year to implement various road safety projects comprising of acquisition of traffic lights and speed cameras, traffic signage equipment and belly sharp beacons, blinking lights, construction of bus laybys for safe embarkation and alighting of passengers, traffic calming measures, construction of delineators, crash barriers and hard shoulders, and construction of footpaths, walkways and drains. In tandem, several communication campaigns were made on social media and wide dissemination in the press. We even organized a road safety week in November 2023, targeting young persons, and where road safety measures ventilated to various segments of the population. The campaigns were framed to reach out to the population and contain messages aiming to raise awareness on road safety issues, including the road-rail interaction. Mr. Speaker, sir, the fact remains that in spite of all the efforts of government to make our roads safer, the statistics regarding fatal accidents have been almost stagnant, fluctuating around 126 killed per year. This therefore rings a bell towards a revision of our strategy, including reviewing our legal framework, as our objective is to reverse the trend of fatal accidents. My ministry and the police force have been working together, and the causes of the accidents have been analyzed, and it has been found that in most cases, accidents occur as a result of reckless and heedless behavior. Monsieur le Président, malheureusement, l'attitude et le comportement sont deux choses très difficiles à changer auprès des adultes. On n'a d'autre choix que de rendre nos lois plus sévères, d'augmenter les pénalités tout en faisant de la conscientisation soutenue, ainsi que d'améliorer nos infrastructures afin d'éviter mort d'homme en cas d'accident. Ceci dit, Monsieur le Président, on continuera à enseigner à nos enfants les bonnes pratiques et les bases du Code de la route. C'est dans cet élan que mon ministère, en collaboration avec le ministère de l'Éducation, de l'Enseignement supérieur, de la Science et de la Technologie, ont travaillé ensemble pour le développement d'un programme d'études sur la sécurité routière. I see this opportunity to announce that the Continuum to Road Safety Education program is now a reality. Road safety education is being inculcated to primary school children of grade 1 to 6, for which 853 teachers were trained, of which 509 holistic teachers, 86,000 road safety books have been published and distributed to students of grade 1 to 6. Practical sessions on road safety are also being imparted to those students by the Road Safety Unit of the TMRSU. Additionally, the road safety materials have been digitalized and 28 animated videos for 28 lessons have been produced for grade 1 and 20 animated videos for 20 lessons for grade 2. 31 digital learning resources for 28 lessons for grade 1 and 3, and 23 digital learning resources for 20 lessons for grade 2 have also been developed. We are going a step further as we will shortly introduce road safety education as from the pre-primary in order to instill among our school children the tenets of road safety and the responsibilities devolved upon road users. Mr. Speaker, sir, inculcating road safety culture to enable a change in behavior and attitude on our roads is a process that will reap its benefit over time. In the immediate, sensitization and enforcement have to be further strengthened so as to ensure compliance with the laws in place with a view to limit death toll on our roads. It is exactly in this context that we are reviewing existing penalties and revisiting some provisions of the Act throughout this bill. Allow me now to elaborate more into details the different clauses of this bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, during Mahashivratri 2023, an unfortunate incident took place wherein 2 people lost their lives when one Karwar caught fire after coming into contact with high voltage electricity cables. Guidelines were thereafter issued prior to Mahashivratri 2024 with a view to restricting the conveyance of oversized Karwar along public roads. However, the guidelines were not fully complied with by everyone, unfortunately, sir, resulting in a similar accident in 2024, wherein 7 lives were lost. Those 2 incidents, indeed, cause immense sadness among the whole nation. And in order for us not to witness such incident in the future, a proper framework has to be established to cater for processions. This Act is being amended to enable regulations to be made on processions along our roads. Therefore, Clause 3 of the bill, provision is being made for a broader definition of the word traffic. The words, quote, structures or objects being carried, pushed, pulled, or led during a procession are therefore being added to the definition of the word traffic. Sir, subsequently through Clause 10 of the bill, it has been provided as follows. A police officer would be vested with such powers as may be necessary for enforcement purposes, including the movement of structures or objects being carried, pushed, pulled, or led during a procession. The permissible size of the structures would be established thereafter by way of new regulations after the bill is enacted. Monsieur le Président, je souhaite préciser que tout type de procession seront réglementés et que cette loi ne se limitera pas seulement aux processions religieuses. Mr. Speaker, sir, presently there are some 51,000 certificats de gage sans déplacement issued by the NLTA on a yearly basis for the purpose of sale of vehicles. A certificate de gage sans déplacement is a document issued to the owner of a vehicle upon sale of a vehicle, certifying whether or not the said vehicle is burdened with a lien in line with Article 2110 of the Code Civil Mauricien. The sale of a vehicle involves three processes. 1, the issue of the certificate de gage sans déplacement manually effected by the NLTA. Then, the registration of the vehicle and payment thereof, which is effected seamlessly online by the Registrar General. And thirdly, finally, the transfer of the ownership and the issue of the registration book manually at the level of the NLT. Being given that the Registrar General already operates an enabling platform which caters for the taxation and registration of vehicles, the draft bill through Clause 4 would allow the registration of vehicles between the two individuals without the need to produce a certificat de gage sans déplacement at the level of the Registrar General. Mr. Speaker, sir, it has also been observed that in many cases, the change in ownership, precisely the registration of the horsepower in the name of the new owner, was not done within the prescribed time of 14 days, in line with Section 6(1)(a)(4) of the Act, leading to situations where the sale was not validly registered, or where the horsepower was not amended to reflect the change in ownership to the name of the true owner, and which is commonly known as papier blanc. Many such cases have been reported, wherein the new owners did not register the change in ownership, and where offences were committed with the car resulting in previous owners being served notices or apprehended by the police. To ensure compliance with the law, provision is therefore being made for the introduction of penalties for defaulters. As such, Mr. Speaker, sir, any person who would be contravening Section 1(a)(4) would, upon first conviction, be liable to a fine not less than 25,000 rupees and would not exceeding 50,000 rupees. Upon second conviction, a person would be liable to a fine of not less than 50,000 rupees and not exceeding 100,000 rupees. Whereas on a third and subsequent conviction, a person would be liable to a fine not less than 100,000 rupees and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to enable the online verification of lien at the level of the Registrar General, Clause 5 of the bill would cater for the verification of any lien on a motor vehicle or trailer prior to the registration and transfer of ownership of same. As regards to the issue of horsepower, same would still be undertaken by the NLT. In order for the new process to be efficient, the Registrar General would have access to the NLT database, and in that effect, sharing of information among the two institutions would be lawfully allowed through Clause 6 of the bill. Accordingly, Clause 13 of the bill provides for the waiving of the current fees of 50 rupees for the issue of the certificat de gage sans déplacement. Mr. Speaker, sir, increase in fatal road accidents is mainly due to careless driving and riding behavior. Despite having proper laws and penalties to dissuade people to drive under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or other intoxicating substances, in year 2023, 603 cases of positive cases of drunken driving was recorded. As regards driving under the influence of drug, as I just mentioned above, 892 cases of driving under the influence of drug were recorded in year 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, it has been brought to our attention that people involved in such cases at times refuse to provide a specimen of their breath for a breath test for analysis, or a specimen of blood or urine, or both for a laboratory test when required to do so, pursuant to Section 123F, 123G or H of the Road Traffic Act. In such cases, no specific time frame was set for the police to make an application to a magistrate to summon a person whenever the person suspected to be driving under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or intoxicating substances refuses to provide a specimen of his breath, of his urine, or blood for testing. In view thereof, Mr. Speaker, sir. Clause 7 of the bill provides for the police to make such application within a prescribed time frame of 30 days now. Concurrently, the penalty for the above would be amended as such that when found guilty by a magistrate, the disqualification period for driving a motor vehicle would be not less than 4 months, but not exceeding 8 months, instead of a period not exceeding 2 months from the date of the order. Mr. Speaker, sir, sadly, illegal road racing has become much of a phenomenon amongst youngsters, especially among motorcyclists, which has led to serious accidents and even fatal ones. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had several cases recently, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the south, at Riambel, near Tribeca, a few days ago, whereby our young people lost their lives as a result of being involved in road racing. The prevailing maximum fine of 1,000 rupees upon conviction under Section 125 of the Act, apart from being reasonably low, is no more seen as a deterrent for those participating in illegal road racing. Clause 8 of the bill, therefore, provides for an increase in fine with a minimum of not less than 10,000 rupees, but not exceeding 25,000 rupees on a first conviction, of a fine not less than 25,000 rupees, but not exceeding 50,000 rupees on a second conviction, and a fine not less than 5,000 rupees, but not exceeding 100,000 rupees, and to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years for a third or subsequent conviction. Mr. Speaker, sir, this increase in fine will definitely act as a major deterrent to illegal rally participants. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, participation in illegal road racing activities, or in case a person fails to comply with such conditions imposed by the Commissioner of Police during a road racing event, this would constitute an offence and will be captured under the road traffic cumulative offence, implying that one will be at a higher risk of being disqualified from driving a motor vehicle or holding a license. Mr. Speaker, sir, under the Road Traffic Act, the penalties for various offences have been well defined. However, due to the complexity of the Act and the wide coverage it has had on traffic offences, penalties relating to some offences have not been specifically defined. In such cases, Section 1631B of the Act provides for any person who commits an offence under this Act shall, on conviction, be liable where no special penalty is provided, to a fine not exceeding 100,000 rupees and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years. The third schedule of the Act presently provides for 11 offences under the cumulative road traffic offences system, and the number of cumulative road traffic offences for which a person is liable to disqualification from driving is 4 within a period of 24 months now. With a view to providing stronger sanctions, Clause 11 of the bill provides for 12 additional road traffic offences under the third schedule of the Act, which are considered crucial for road safety, that is to say, additional offences, all directly related to road safety, would now be captured under the cumulative road traffic offences, implying that drivers and road users, be it motorists or two-wheelers, would now have to be more cautious and be wary of their actions and conduct on the roads, as they run the risk of having their licenses cancelled. Monsieur le Président, les lois ne doivent pas rester figées et se doivent d'être revues dans le temps. Nous ne pouvons et ne devrions pas cautionner l'immobilisme concernant la sécurité routière, et ce, quel que soit le contexte. Le but, Monsieur le Président, est de nous assurer que les amendes aient un effet des plus dissuasifs, car vous allez convenir que maintenant, le même montant sur une période étendue n'aurait jamais le même impact sur le comportement des usagers de la route. Il y a des pénalités qui sont restées inchangées pendant plusieurs années, c'est-à-dire depuis 2018. Comme illustration, Monsieur le Président, le montant fixé pour le délit de overtaking or passing a vehicle which has stopped at a pedestrian crossing a été revu de 1 000 roupies à 5 000 roupies. Monsieur le Président, il est inconcevable qu'un délit de cette envergure, c'est-à-dire dépasser une voiture qui s'est arrêtée devant un passage clouté pour permettre les piétons de traverser sur ce passage clouté, et vient cet imprudent qui overtake cette voiture qui s'est arrêtée devant le passage clouté pour permettre à un enfant ou un piéton de traverser sur le passage clouté, Monsieur le Président. Il est inconcevable qu'un délit de cette envergure et qui a causé la mort de plusieurs personnes reste à 1 000 roupies, reste inchangé, Monsieur le Président. C'est pour cette raison que nous nous sommes attelés à réactualiser le montant de certains fixed penalties dans un souci d'ajuster les pénalités pour mieux refléter la gravité de certains manquements des usagers de la route. De même, Monsieur le Président, le délit de failing to allow free and uninterrupted passage to a pedestrian using a crossing. Quel est ce délit, Monsieur le Président? Failing to allow free and uninterrupted passage to a pedestrian using a crossing. C'est-à-dire, Monsieur le Président, quand un piéton est en train de traverser le passage clouté, le crochet, comme on dit, vous venez, vous, imprudent que vous êtes, you fail to allow ce piéton son free passage sur ce passage clouté, Monsieur le Président. Je connais un cas, 3 semaines de cela, à Tamarin, Monsieur le Président, une écolière dont je connais les parents, traversant le passage clouté, heurté par un monsieur imprudent, un conducteur ivre, 8h30, 9h du matin, Monsieur le Président. Failing to allow free and uninterrupted passage to a pedestrian. Ce délit était sujet à une pénalité de 1500 roupies, Monsieur le Président. Cette fille a passé 3 semaines à la clinique. Heureusement, il n'a pas eu plus de grave que ça, Monsieur le Président. Elle a été hospitalisée pendant plusieurs semaines, a dû évidemment ne pas aller à l'école, à ses classes. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait maintenant aujourd'hui avec cet amendement? Nous augmentons cette amende, cette pénalité de 1500 roupies à 3000 roupies, Monsieur le Président. Parce que nous ne pouvions cautionner ce genre de comportement qui consiste à mettre en danger la vie des innocents piétons. Et là, je répète, plusieurs personnes ont péri sur nos routes par la faute de certains automobilistes qui ne respectent pas les consignes de sécurité routière, et nous ne pouvons plus maintenir le statu quo et ne prendre aucune action envers ceux agissant de façon responsable et démontrant un manque total de considération envers les personnes les plus vulnérables sur nos routes, que sont les 2 roues et les piétons. D'ailleurs, c'est avec peine, comme je viens de vous dire, Monsieur le Président, nous constatons de temps en temps un accident impliquant des piétons sur des passages cloutés, ce qui est vraiment outrageant, Monsieur le Président. Alors, même la Cour a donné raison à les autorités. Nous enjoignons d'être plus sévères envers les personnes faisant fi des règles élémentaires de bonne conduite. Et là, Monsieur le Président, comment passer sous silence un jugement qui a été rendu par la Cour suprême 2 semaines de cela? Je ne vais pas citer le nom de l'accusé, Monsieur le Président, parce que le prévenu avait fait appel contre ce jugement à la Cour suprême, condamné par la Cour intermédiaire à 3 mois de prison en sus d'être disqualifié par la Cour suprême, par la Cour intermédiaire en premier lieu, et il a fait une demande, il a été condamné il a été, disqualifié pendant une durée de 6 mois. Cet accident, Monsieur le Président, avait causé la mort d'une personne par la faute d'un chauffeur sous l'influence de l'alcool. Il avait fait appel contre ce jugement auprès de la Cour suprême. C'est-à-dire, son avocat lui a conseillé de faire appel parce que le jugement de la Cour intermédiaire, le condamnant d'abord à 3 mois de prison, et le disqualifiant pour 6 mois, d'après son avocat, était excessif ou probablement wrong in law, in principle. Donc il fait appel à la Cour suprême, Monsieur le Président. Et voyons ce qui ressort du jugement éclairé de la Cour suprême. Et la Cour suprême n'est pas allée avec le dos de la cuillère à l'encontre de cet accusé, de ce prévenu. Malgré que son avocat ait plaidé pour une révision de la sentence qui, d'après lui, était manifestly harsh and excessive in principle, la Cour suprême, dans toute sa sagesse, n'a pas accédé à sa requête. Pire, Monsieur le Président, au contraire, vu que la personne avait un taux d'alcoolémie 4 fois au lieu de la limite autorisée, la Cour n'a pas été tendre, n'est pas allée de la même ordre et a eu ceci à dire. We cannot, I quote, Monsieur le Président, we cannot obliterate the likely devastating impact of the appellant's reckless action and lack of responsibility on the victim and the victim's wife and family. De plus, Monsieur le Président, en finale, la Cour a statué que la période de disqualification initiale ordonnée par la Cour intermédiaire de l'ordre de 6 mois n'était nullement appropriée et a révisé cette sentence à la hausse en augmentant la période de 6 mois, tenez-vous bien, Monsieur le Président, à 3 ans. Oui, Monsieur le Président. 3 ans de disqualification, alors que le prévenu et son avocat contestaient que la sentence rendue par la Cour intermédiaire était manifestement harsh. Et laissez-moi citer ce que la Cour avait eu à dire. It is high time that people understand that drunk driving will be severely dealt with. This court will focus on holding individuals accountable for reckless behavior of drunk driving, which leads to loss of life. The sentence meted out should reflect the severity of the offense and serve as a deterrent to others in the future. End of quote, Monsieur le Président. De même, c'est pourquoi il est inconcevable que certaines pénalités demeurent inchangées, et ce malgré le fluctuation du temps. Je tiens fermement à démentir certaines mauvaises langues qui affirment que la révision des pénalités a d'autres motifs. Non, Monsieur le Président. Le but de ces amendements est de protéger nos enfants, notre population, nos écoliers, nos étudiants, nos vieux, nos piétons contre les personnes irresponsables au volant et surtout ceux qui sont les plus à risque. Nous ne voulons pas faire de la politique sur les victimes d'accidents de la route. Et j'invite les membres de l'autre côté de la Chambre à faire preuve de retenue quand la sécurité routière est l'affaire de nous tous, quand nous sommes tous des usagers de la route et à certains moments, nous sommes même des piétons, des cyclistes et des motocyclistes. Monsieur le Président, il faut souligner que sur 204 offenses figurant sur la liste des fixed penalties, seulement une trentaine sont en train d'être vues. Il est totalement faux de faire croire que nous voulons pénaliser qui que ce soit. Au contraire, si nous pouvions résumer ce projet de loi, on pourrait le faire en un seul mot. Continuer à protéger. Oui, Monsieur le Président, protéger la population contre les personnes irresponsables. Une minorité, probablement, ceux qui ne respectent pas le code de la route et démontrent une absence de courtoisie contre ceux qui conduisent sous l'emprise de l'alcool ou de la drogue et que grâce aux amendements récents, nous pouvons mieux sévir contre eux. Je n'ai aucun doute, Monsieur le Président, que la population dans son ensemble s'alignera sur la position du gouvernement en ce qu'il s'agit du durcissement de la loi envers ceux qui mettent en péril la vie des gens sur nos routes. Nous rejetons toute forme de conduite dangereuse, telle que le non-respect du code de la route, des panneaux de signalisation et la conduite irresponsable et irréfléchie. Par rapport aux fixed penalties, Monsieur le Président, en toute humilité, nous avons revu notre copie. En ce faisant, nous avons été à l'écoute de la population et nous avons fait des ajustements là où il fallait. C'est justement pour cela que le montant de certains délits, la pénalité concernant certains délits, a été réaligné et le montant des pénalités revu. Nous avons aussi, autant que possible, aligné les offenses du même type sur le même barème, et ce, dans un souci de proportionnalité, tout en tenant compte, comme je l'avais mentionné plus haut, que certains montants n'avaient pas été révisés depuis belle lurette et il fallait réajuster les pénalités. Par exemple, pour une offense aussi sérieuse que le non-port de la ceinture de sécurité, l'amende a dû être révisée car il a été constaté en moyenne au cours de ces dernières années qu'environ 8 passagers se trouvant les sièges arrière périssent dans les accidents, Monsieur le Président. D'ailleurs, dans un souci de mieux s'armer contre la sécurité routière, nous n'avons pas lésiné sur les moyens pour construire un state-of-the-art forensic laboratory au coût d'environ 800 millions de roupies, ce qui démontre de manière sans équivoque l'engagement de notre Premier ministre. Pour ce state-of-the-art forensic laboratory a été commandité par le bureau du Premier ministre, qui démontre son engagement, notre engagement envers la sécurité de nos concitoyens sur nos routes. Qu'est-ce que je veux dire, Monsieur le Président, quand je parle d'un state-of-the-art forensic laboratory? Et pourquoi je saisis cette occasion pour en parler? Parce que cela nous a permis de procéder à des tests plus poussés pour détecter la présence de substances illicites dans le sang des automobilistes, Monsieur le Président. Et là, dans un cas, le FSL a pu déceler plus de 8 types de drogues, 8 types de drogues dans le sang d'un usager de la route. Et cela démontre d'abord toute cette imprudence, Monsieur le Président, et toute cette volonté à faire de notre part nos routes un espace plus sûr. 219 cas ont été positifs. Et dans 60% des cas, Monsieur le Président, écoutez-moi bien, dans 60% des cas, plusieurs types de drogues ont été décelés et plusieurs personnes ont été testées positives à plusieurs types de drogues à la fois. Et certainement, Monsieur le Président, comment pouvons-nous montrer plus de laxisme sur ce sujet? Et les chiffres nous réconfortent dans notre tâche qui est de faire de nos routes plus sûres. In fact, Mr. Speaker, out of 424 samples analyzed up to June 2023, 339, écoutez-moi, Monsieur le Président, sur 424, 339 analysis demonstrated that these drug users were poly-drug users, having a minimum of 2 drugs and a maximum of 6 drugs in their blood at the time of the commission of a road traffic offense. Monsieur le Président, can you imagine a driver on our roads, La Bourdonnais Street, I don't know, Rose Hill somewhere, driving on one of our roads with 6 types of drug in his blood at the time that he is on the wheel, at the wheel of his car, Mr. Speaker, sir. And how can some people come and contend the increase in penalties meted out to such offenders? What should we do, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the face of these appalling figures? Des centaines de millions ont été dépensés pour de nombreux ajouts et mécanismes visant à assurer la sécurité de nos concitoyens sur nos routes. Et nous ne pouvons pas nous arrêter en si bon chemin. Notre devoir envers la population est de promouvoir et s'assurer un système de transport sûr et efficace, et cela requiert une approche favorisant un déplacement en toute sécurité. Beaucoup d'efforts ont été consentis et vont se poursuivre car mon ministère, à travers le TMA reçu, s'est vu confier plusieurs responsabilités récemment quant à la maintenance de panneaux de signalisation et le marquage de routes, le but étant de faire de nos routes encore plus sûres. Ces amendements ne se sont pas faits sur un coup de tête. Il y a tout un travail qui a été fait par les techniciens du ministère et le TMA reçu pour que les amendements aient l'effet souhaité quand nous voulons que les gens soient plus responsables sur nos routes et adoptent des bonnes habitudes. Les law-abiding citizens n'ont rien à craindre de ces nouveaux amendements, quand notre seul objectif est de faire de sorte que nos routes soient plus sûres. C'est très réducteur d'entendre certains parler de répression. Non, Monsieur le Président, sauver les vies ne peut être assimilé à la répression, quand la route est un espace commun, un espace de partage qui appartient à nous tous. Mr. Speaker, sir, je vais parler des ajustements que nous avons faits et que nous allons proposer à la Chambre. Et c'est dans un souci de proportionnalité, tout en tenant compte, comme je l'avais mentionné plus haut, que certains montants n'avaient pas été révisés depuis belle lurette et il fallait réajuster les pénalités. Following consultations held and taking into account views and representations made, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will move for amendments at committee stage to review some of the penalties and to harmonize same. I also propose to review downwards the list of offences being captured under the cumulative road traffic, the road traffic offences. Monsieur le Président, the amendments are being circulated. I wish to show my appreciation for the emphasis laid by the Prime Minister on road safety and his direct involvement in the matter. This demonstrates the commitment of this government to promote a road safety culture, and even the Prime Minister's office provided assistance in the different sensitization campaigns carried out on the matter. Je le maintiens, Monsieur le Président, le but de ces amendements est d'abord et surtout pour mieux protéger la population, et c'est surtout surtout ceux qui font fi de nos lois. J'ai terminé. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
So, before I give you the floor, let me remind honourable members that the bill today before this House is an amendment bill. And I therefore appeal to honourable members to confine their observations to the amendments contained therein. Thank you. So, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we'll try to confine to specific amendments being brought to the legislation, but you'd concur with me that the Minister has opened the debate and has referred to deterrence, prevention, and issues which are not directly relevant to the amendments being brought before us. Let me make it quite clear that deterrence is not correlated directly to increase in fines. There are other issues that have to be flagged and flogged, and emphasis is one of the issues that has to be taken on board. I, like the Minister, has made it a point to talk to several persons, okay? And people are worried. Not that they will fall foul of the law, not that they are not law-abiding citizens, but everybody you meet will tell you that the fines are disproportionate, excessive. And you cannot, Mr. Speaker, stop people saying that the government has an agenda. The agenda is to collect money, to turn road traffic offences into a money spinner. Now, the biggest omission in this bill, as I've stated, is emphasis on deterrence, on training, and road safety per se. I'll make a comment of general nature in relation to Road Traffic Amendment Bill. You know the saying, Mr. Speaker, click, clunk, and drive safely. Safe trip home or to any destination is our prayer and ardent wish. Road kills. Of course, we all want to be safe rather than sorry. The Minister has spoken lengthily on drink and drive, which is indeed a serious offense. And it is worse, as he has stated, if there's level of drugs in the bloodstream. And we expect the Forensic Scientific Lab to deliver in relation to tests that have to be conducted. There are provisions, the legislation, Minister mentioned Clause 7, which would take care of this offense. But again, there is a call to convey the right signal. The issue is one, not only of drink and drive or consumption of drugs, but the issue is deeper. The problem is deeper. And the drug issue has to be addressed. Unfortunately, government is yet to address this issue. I'm not going to say that has failed abysmally, but this is an issue that has to be addressed forcefully. Of course, no one wants drugs to be in the blood level. There is no threshold for toleration of drugs. There's always a note of warning also when one is on medicated drugs. But the risks are sometimes self-made and self-inflicted. You can see people who are standing at the side of the road waiting to cross with their heads in their phones. For example, at the corner of an unlit road to the SBM Park in Forest Side, a big trailer of a juggernaut is parked on and off, and it is a recurrent feature. And we expect the road traffic management to act and to act forcefully and diligently. An accident-prone area has been created, sometimes and largely due to indifference and insensitivity to safety and security. Whoever does it cannot get away, I take it, I conquer. But at the same time, the fines cannot be disproportionate. Now, traffic management officers have to be diligent, and they have to be present, and they have to act forcefully, and they have to make sure that the right signals are sent to those who often break the law. How many of these at-risk areas are there? The sites where there is no safety camera are obviously the preferred choices. We're all for prescribed regulations. They should provide the avenue of redress. But again, I will come back that these fines cannot be excessive. Let me advise the Minister to err on the side of caution on the cumulative road traffic offences, and I will elaborate later on. Mr. Speaker, polluters and offenders of road traffic must pay, but they cannot have stated be fleeced. A fine has to be reasonable. There cannot be quantum leap of fines. Offences relating to safety, silencers, insurance vignette have increased by 150%. And those who break speed limit will be severely fined. The Minister has said, has given figures in relation to the number of motorized road users. And as he said, the number will continue to increase, and incidentally, there will be an increased number of persons who will break the law. But I will come back again to say that this is not the reason why government has to rip off taxpayers directly or indirectly. I know of people who have stated that, if with that substantial increase in fine, you might as well take my vehicle, because the fines are so excessive. I won't be able to pay. And this is the harsh reality, and this is the naked truth. It is not because government gives that government has to take. I grant you there's no free lunch, but government cannot always be government, and government cannot always decide. Because government has been made to retreat and surrender, the will of the people is a great force to be reckoned. Mr. Speaker, the Minister has said it, and I concur, the fleets of motorized or non-motorized vehicles are growing. but the correlation of accident between increasing road network and vehicles is obvious. Since 2015, the regime has failed to face the problem fair and square, head-on, as we say. Has a reliable study based on empirical evidence been conducted to assess the causes of 140 fatal accidents in year 2023? The dangers always lurch with repairs of total loss of vehicle. Total loss should be total loss. There should be no compromise. But I grant you, drivers are keen on repair because of the constant increase in price of insurance and repair largely due to depreciation of the rupee. The metro, unfortunately, has compounded the problem of road safety and security in some areas. Saint-Jean Road has been narrowed with the right rail track of metro. And if there's an emergency call to be attended by ambulance or fire services, it spells a disaster. It is the outcome of poor infrastructural planning by the regime, which was fiercely condemned by Minister Ganu and his colleague, the Minister of Environment, when they were on the opposition bench. Causes of accidents are multifactorial. I'm not going to go into into many of the causes, but let me say that road traffic signs, the keep left signal, especially at roundabout, are misleading. At the roundabout of Phoenix, if drivers cross over and caught, the offense will be compounded as cumulative road traffic offenses. And if enforced, many drivers will lose their licenses. The offense should stand on its own. Mr. Speaker, in 2018, amendments to the Road Traffic Bill also made provision to increase cumulative road traffic offences from 11 to 24. And the Prime Minister realized the blunder and impressed upon the then Minister responsible for road safety to go back to the drawing board and keep the cumulative road traffic offences to 11 as was. Now the Minister is daring and keen to increase the cumulative offences to 32. This is provocative and unnecessary. Let me come to fitness centres. How reliable are fitness centres? I grant you there's no compromise on road safety, but the values and merits of road safety have to be constantly disseminated with reach out to all. Some experts have argued for training on defensive driving for drivers and online training that delivers a certificate of a completion with checks for scrutiny. Mr. Daniel Raymond set up a training school for motorbike drivers, and after 6 months of hand-on training, it was agreed that they would take exams to be eligible to have a license. Unfortunately, the gentleman has gone and the school has fallen.
Make sure you're not going outside.
Just a few minutes ago, before the Honourable Leader of Opposition took the floor, indicated that we need to concentrate on the amendments being proposed in the bill. And I'm fairly certain that the Leader of the Opposition, I speak under your correction, Mr. Speaker, sir, has completely left the ambit of the amendments being proposed.
How is the Leader of the Opposition supposed to make his speech when the Minister has not yet submitted the amendments to the amendments that we are supposed to be talking about? How is that possible?
I will come to your point. First of all, let me address this point. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, your debate should concentrate on the first series of amendments. And, okay, let us break. I ask you first, I ask you whether you are willing to talk. You took your responsibility, you said, yes, let me break until the Minister circulates amendment. Because you misled the chamber when you said, yes, you are ready to talk.